this abomination of a cave. Give us your take on what happened over the weekend here with this bill.
Well, to me, it seems they purposely just did not negotiate whatsoever. It's almost like they took Biden's original offer. And honestly, they got, if you look at the nice little PDF that Chip Roy from the Freedom Caucus put out, which breaks down exactly what was in the original Reigns Act versus what was so-called negotiated over the last week, it's about 95% different. I mean, we got almost nothing we wanted. And the most signature promise, so-called promise McCarthy made going into this whole thing was the firing of the 87,000 IRS agents. I would say that's probably the single most blatant, insane lie and promise that was abandoned by McCarthy, because, of course, this funds 98% of what the IRS was expected to spend on new agents. So the truth of the matter is we're running out of time. You see the Freedom Caucus speaking out. You can go on Twitter, scroll down, or Truth, and look at all the Freedom Caucus members indicating they're going to vote against it. But that's probably not going to be enough to stop this thing. We got to get somebody with the courage to actually do a motion to vacate and get rid of McCarthy, because there's still time to send a real negotiator back into the White House to go meet with Biden and let them know we either stand by our original offer or here's another modified offer. But what they so-called agreed to this weekend, absolutely, we cannot allow it to stand. It's going to destroy this country. And, of course, it's giving away all of our power for 2 years. So they got to do a motion to vacate. They got to fight back, and they got to come up with either a new deal or make Biden accept the original deal. I can almost guarantee they're going to take the original deal, because Biden has to get reelected in his own mind. He wants to be reelected, and this is a ticket for him to do that. And a default was not. And so they're just not being tough. McCarthy's a sellout. He's a soft guy. We knew that from the beginning. But what's really shocking to me is how few members are willing to exercise the power they had to get rid of him.
When you say it's shocking to you, I was, other than a handful of Freedom Caucus members, Bob Good, Chip Roy, Dan Bishop, Kentucky, a few others, Ralph Norman, there's been basically silence. Some people saying, "Oh, we want to see the text." What the hell does that mean? I don't need to see the text. This is a complete sellout. Now, walk us through the vacate motion for McCarthy. How would that happen?
Well, obviously, as you well remember, during the fight around McCarthy's speakership 5 months ago, I can't believe it's been that long, but when that happened, one of the rules to the House that was issued was a one-member motion to vacate. So right now, quite literally right now, any Republican can issue a motion, it's a privileged motion, to vacate the chair. So they'd have to take it up and they'd have to debate whether McCarthy is the speaker or not, knowing that they could easily kick him out of power because there's already 6 or 7 people who stood against McCarthy. And even if you remember, the last 6 people who gave up at the last minute and allowed McCarthy to be speaker, they never even voted for him. They just voted present. And so just those folks or a few more vote for it, McCarthy's out. So the truth of the matter is he may as well resign as speaker if they exercise that motion without even going through the procedure of having to vote on his speakership. So if they did that, even if they just put him on notice by filing it, I think that's enough to trigger a renegotiation of this whole deal. But we got to get somebody who's willing to do it. Right now, they're not willing to do it. We're not seeing anybody indicate. It would be really infuriating if a bunch of the Freedom Caucus members say, hey, we're going to vote against this. This is a terrible deal. But we're also not going to do anything about it. We're not really going to use the power that we have as members of the caucus to stop McCarthy in this betrayal of America. We need to make sure that happens.
If you were there in Congress right now, Anthony Sabatini, would you do it?
100%. I would be filing it. Probably last Friday I would have filed it. But then again, I tell people, they said, would you have been one of the 20 patriots against McCarthy or one of the 6 that never voted for him? I said, no, I would have been a group of either. It would have been a group of 1. It would have been 20 that fought into the end, 6 that voted president, and I would have been the guy who voted no at the end. Because the truth of the matter is I wouldn't vote for someone to be speaker who doesn't have what it takes. I mean, look, fast forward 5 months, here we are. Is anybody really that surprised, though, that McCarthy did what he did? The only thing that's surprising me is the reaction of the members who have the power over him but are not using it. But McCarthy, we knew he was going to betray betray these guys.